Is that a good way to start a stream? I don't know. Anyway, let me see if I can turn this off. Hey, that helps a little bit. Okay, I look horrible because I got sunburnt, and so I'm sunburnt. So we're just gonna deal with my sunburn. We're just gonna deal with my sunburn and my patchy, horrible face and all that jazz. And we're gonna put this sleeping dragon together. And she lays a certain way. She lays like this, and her tail can come around. She's gigantic. But I've got to put on all 4 fins. Luna, be still. Her ears. And literally when I say all the flowers and leaves, I'm talking about all the flowers and leaves. Good morning. I'm so tired today because I got so sunburnt. And I shouldn't have gotten sunburnt because it was like I was protected, but I got so sunburned over the weekend. And then I got bit by something. We were under an old oak that had a bunch of ants underneath it, and I got bit on my back twice by something, probably old stinging ant. And oh my gosh, was that painful. So it's been a heck of a few days. Lulu, stop licking. Luna, stop licking. Okay, so I look like absolute trash this morning, but I've got to finish this dragon. It's a sleeping dragon. It's a sweet sleeping dragon with flowers. I just got to make sure that I don't put her the wrong way because she lays a certain way because of her forehead up here. I have to make sure okay, perhaps I should put on the ears first so I make sure I don't make her lay the wrong way. That would be horrible. Yeah, let's put her ears on first. So, I got this off of this pattern off of Etsy, and I've worked on it. Y'all have seen me work on it several times, and then I put it back down for a while and work on something small, and then I go back there. And so this is something that I've been working on for a long time, and after this weekend at the sale, I kind of burnt myself out doing small things, so I thought, well, I'm just going to finish this one thing. Y'all can just ignore the trolls. It seems like they put us back out in the algorithm and we get the stupid people visiting, but it's okay. Yeah, every once in a while we find a diamond in the rough. We're just going to hope that, with all the trash that crawls through, maybe we find a diamond in the rough. Lay down, Luna. Take your nap. You've had your dinner. Take your nap. Don't look at me like that. Take your nap. She looks like she's fixing to start some trouble. Now she's going to nap. So, anyway, it was just a rough weekend. It was hot, and when I got bit by something, it made my neuromuscular disorder act out, and I swelled, and I had frozen muscles, and it was just because I got bit by something and my body didn't like it. It is like the real world. Boy, I tell you what, sometimes you have to even look even longer to find a decent person, sadly. I'm going to put her ears down because she's sleeping, so I'm going to put her ears kind of down and back. And I have decided that this dragon, as gigantic as she is going to be a new baby gift. Y'all know my bonus child, Jonah. He and his fiance, whose name is Miracle, I love her name, are expecting. And so Jonah is like, a hard rocker metal dude, Y'all have seen him sing and play his guitar, and it was just in my mind that, his child would probably need something different than the normal Lovey. So I thought, let's make it a dragon. So I've been working on this for quite a while, and I told you I would tell you who it was going to. That's who it's going to. So this will be my bonus grandbaby. And I'm excited to meet it when it gets here. So that's who's getting this one. Also, you remember the goats I did for my twin grandbabies in Georgia? I got the same yarn, but in the gigantic really big blanket size, and I'm thinking about making one gigantic goat just to send, because y'all know how my little granddaughter likes to sit on the back porch and yell at the goats next door. So I thought that would be funny. Snore, snore, snore. Okay, so got one ear on. We're going to put this here over here. And I've got to also do her eyes. I've got to embroider her eyes. And the embroidery may happen another day, y'all. Oh, Mickey, no, I'm not. I'm bored. I'm bored. I probably, let's see, David, I didn't stay all day both days because my body, just after I got stung and had the frozen muscle issues, I couldn't. It was pushing me too hard, so I had to come home every day about midday. Well, the first day I came home at 3:30, and the next day I came home at like 1. And it was just too much after I got stung, and then my neuromuscular disorder started presenting. I was just like, I was fried. I was done. I was dying inside. I just needed to go home. And but David, let's see, our friend, the blacksmith, he always wears a kilt. He has an axe throwing business and a blacksmith business where he helps you forge your own stuff. Sweet man. He and his wife, we always end up at the same places when we go to like festivals and stuff like that, the cultural things that we go to. And he was there, and he had all 4 of his kids with him finally, because I rarely get to see all 4 of the kids. Normally we see them when we're like, an hour or so away from where we all live. And so he was there with his kids, and it was the first time I got to see all the kids all together. So guess who doled out free possums? But they were so precious. And it's the first time I've ever got to see, and he had them in a double stroller, and the 2 biggest ones walking. And he's just such a sweet guy, and he always looks out for us. We always look out for him. We always find new places. He's always telling David about, I found this, or we're trying to do this, or, he's such a sweet guy. So I finally saw all the kids together, and I normally give them like ornaments at Christmas and stuff, but since, this first time I'd seen them all 4 together, of course, they know me by sight now. And so I doled out free possums. And then when David goes up to this hunting store by the house, he's really close to those guys up there, a real good group of guys. They go and they have a pulling. They go to pulling shows. Big engines, pull sleds with weights on them, those things. And well, here come that guy's little boy and his younger brother. I did it again. I doled out 2 more free possums. Listen, I had boxes and boxes of crochet, and I got really good responses. The catfish sold. I sold a bunch of stuff. I don't even remember what all sold. Sold the frog coin purse that the mouth was the opening. I sold so much stuff I can't remember what all sold. Got really good feedback on all my crochet. Made a lot of people laugh, that made my day. My bone jewelry did really well. I was tickled with it. Okay, ears are on. Ears are on. I like to embroider if I'm in an embroidering mood. I don't know if I'm in an embroidering mood today. I was in a fun mood when I woke up, and then I got a thing from Etsy, and I said, David, you've got a notification from Etsy. He said, well, he's at work, obviously. He said, I'm busy. See what it is. I was like, okay. So I logged into Etsy for him, and it was the guy that's been buying the skunk pelts. He's bought 3. He flagged it and said he needed help with something. Took a picture of the very end of the tail and said, this is damage. It wasn't damage. Wasn't anything wrong with it. And he said, this is not the skunk that I bought. I guess he didn't know who I am and what I used to do. But I said, no, that's not this skunk that you bought. It's the first skunk that you bought. I said, we don't sell multiples. We normally sell 1 to 2 at a time, so we're very careful. We sell them per pattern because people want them for a specific pattern, so we only sell a couple, 3 at a time, so we make sure that you get the pattern you want. We don't get them mixed up. That was the first one you bought. You've given us rave reviews, and now you have a problem. And I said, but I said, I see you're wanting your full money back on damage that isn't there because that's not even the pelt you bought. But I also see that you've started a store on Etsy, and what do you think you have in there? The 3 pelts you bought from us. So if it's good enough for you to resell, I don't think there's a problem. So he withdrew his issue. You find people like that, like I'm reminded when I run into people like that why mules kick vehicles. It makes sense to me. That's why mules kick vehicles. If I was a mule and I ran into something like that, I'd kick a vehicle too. It irritates me that people are so crooked. Of course, then they've never met me. Don't play with me. I've got to see what all's on there now. Some stuff sold. And I think Dave took it off already. Some stuff has got to be reactivated or a new listing with new pictures made because it's just time. I got the raccoon pocketbook. Man, I thought it was going to sell about 4 times. Nobody ever did it. So I did put it on Etsy. I took pictures of it and I put it on Etsy because I knew David would not know how to talk about it. So I put it on Etsy. I think the other Cody pelt purse is still on there. I do have another one where I just took a suede bag that I found at a thrift shop that was clean. It was basically brand new. And put a face on it with a bunch of beading and stuff. I need to probably list it. I don't think it's currently listed. It can go to somebody for a cheaper price. You know, and that guy that did that to the skunk pelt, not that I care what you do after you purchase the hides from us, but don't do it, you know, don't purchase hides and then like every third hide try to get your money back so that you can then, you know, scalp somebody and make a killing. Just pay for it and go on. If you're going to be a dog, just, you know, own it and pay for it and go on. And I've done a short to put up about that, and I think in the short I said I would tell him where to go, but since he's going to end up there someday anyway, I don't guess directions are needed. Very rude to you know, say, oh, it's damaged, I want my money back, and then put it in your own goddamn shop to sell it. Cricket, cricket, cricket is a dog's hind leg. People like that, oh man, they get my goat. And then some lady, the only bad thing that happened this weekend was some lady came over by the table, and we were at a horse stables. And so what had happened that early that morning, a skunk had come through the back campground and sprayed. And like everybody that went to the, we got one flapper on. Everybody that went to the bathroom that morning was like, gosh, wish they do something about these skunks. Every morning you're afraid you're going to jump one and get sprayed or, you know, have to deal with the smell. And I was like, well, it's kind of hard to deal with skunks. That's why people want them trapped so much, because when they procreate, they do it in numbers and then they take over a place. So everybody that had been there knew that it was, you know, the skunks that had been spraying around the bathhouse. Hang on, I gotta make sure I get this to the right place. Okay. Well, then this little lady comes down the road and she gets to David's booth, and I'm just sitting back there. I'm sitting back crocheting, actually. I'm sitting in the shade crocheting with a fan. Living the good life. And she goes, oh my God, it smells like a skunk. David said, well, good, that's what it is. She goes, no, it still stinks. And I said, well, it ain't perfume. And I just went back to crocheting. She goes, it shouldn't stink that bad. And David said, well, ma'am, there was a skunk sprayed over by the bathhouses this morning. He said, I think that's what you're spraying. He said, if you'll take it and sniff it close to your face, He said, you'll see it's not my hide that stinks. I'm not putting that stinky thing next to my face. It stinks. I said, well, somebody called a Dior. I said, we got a skunk that smells like a skunk. I said, breaking news. And she just looked at me, and I just looked at her, and she walked off. And I thought, honey, you stopped yourself here when you could have walked on, and you chose to interact. I don't know what to tell you other than you made a bad decision. But everybody else was great. I saw a lot of people I hadn't seen in a long time. Some pictures of however many people was out there, and got to talk to some of the ladies riding about some of the trails that I cut when I was little, when I was a teenager, and did all that. So that was kind of neat. Talked to some people I even rode with back in the day. That was fun. They were still out riding, coming through and kind of doing a dual trip. They were camping there, getting the one cell in and riding. I thought that's pretty good. That's a pretty good trip. So it was fun. I just, something bit the far out of me, and it had to be one of those big old ants out of that tree. I mean, it hurt like a woo. And then I got sunburnt, even though I was slathered and in the shade. I got sunburnt. Leave it to me. But whenever I got bit, it literally started my muscle season up, and I was having problems, and I eventually had to go home because I could not get them to stop. Okay, we got 2 flappers on. All the flowers are going to be the pain in the butt for this thing, all the flowers. I like the way you wrote that, North Texas. I'm on the Cumberland Plateau. Hi, Chelsea. They've thrown us back out in the algorithm, so I know most people do get rewarded for that behavior. You don't around me. You don't around me. I will throw it right back at you and make you lick your wounds as you walk off. I just find it very unappealing when people do stuff like that. Okay, now we're going to put the back flippers on. I think I may wait till I can control my hands a little bit better before I do her eyes, because she's going to have sleeping eyes with eyelashes that go the other way. And but I just got to get all these pieces put on her, because I'm afraid Luna's going to eat one. I'm going to be like, did she eat one? Was there 8 or 9 of these? Because that would be my dog. She's over here sleeping, playing possum right now. She'd do it. And then have a seizure and freak me out so she wouldn't get punished. My little epileptic dog. She knows she holds the power. All she's got to do is shake and bake, and I'll forget anything she's done. I usually don't mind putting stuff together. The only thing I think about this one is the project itself is so large that it is a little bit more tedious to put together. It's not like you can hold it in one side of your lap or one arm. You kind of, it takes you the whole chair. And the table. Make sure you don't have anything sitting on the table that can be knocked off, because the tail will knock it off. I know that by experience. I've done that a few times now. So they came out to visit me that day that I had that stomach bug and was so sick, and I didn't have it done. So I'm glad. I'm almost glad that they didn't get to visit me that day. So when they come back out to visit, I'm going to gift this to them so they can get it put up in the baby's room. I just thought that, he's such a little rock and roll guy. Jonah is just heavy metal, singing, playing the guitar. His kid just needed something other than a lovey. So a dragon it was. Oh, hang on, I'm trying to read. Yeah, I'm from Appalachia. I tell you what, I stayed under the shade and stuff. I think it's just where I have not been out and about that much this summer. Your grandpa liked me. Yay. Most elderly people do like me because I'm not one of the pretentious youth of today. Of course, I'm not young anymore, but you know what I mean. Some stuff done and get caught up, and I've got poor little Oliver, my mom's chihuahua. He's not doing good. So if y'all got 5 minutes, toss up a little prayer for Oliver. He's not doing well at all. Seems like he's having a better day today than he had yesterday, but his health is not great right now. And I worry about him. This is kind of like the Loch Ness. Goodness gracious. This is kind of like the Loch Ness monster, but it's called the Sleeping something other dragon. If y'all want the link to the pattern, let me know and I can put it in the description later. But it's not super detailed because everything that you sew on is kind of what makes the detail. And it takes a long time to make everything that you have to sew. I got so sick of making flowers. I mean, I think I made like a dozen flowers or so, at least. I'm trying to make sure I get this fin on straight so it doesn't lean farther than the other one. I haven't even been able to watch the news. I've not caught up on any of the social events. I've just been busy trying to get through the weekend and deal with everything that happened to me and my neuromuscular disorder that tried to present and be a butthole. So I'm feeling better today, but I still get like heat flashes and I know that's from whatever bit me. It left 2 big welts on my back, far enough apart. It wasn't a spider bite, but I think a big old flipping stinging ant fell out of that giant tree and got me. On a good day, I would not have picked that tree to have sat under, but that's where they put us. And we had our tent above us, but you know, ants. So, ants, little suckers can get everywhere. But we had a good weekend. Other than what little bit I could be out, I enjoyed it. It wasn't super hot. David enjoyed it. He sang to it anyway. Of course, he had to work every day around it to be able to go to it, so he's not had any time off in forever. But he's a worker, so. And then next month we have 3 weekends in a row. I say we. But there is a yay, we've got all the pins on. So the neck, you don't want to put it too tight because you want the neck to be able to bend along with the tail. So I'm going to be doing some rolling and pushing, and because you want it to lay down on the bed and look like it's resting. I had to watch the lady's video about it because I was totally going to overstuff it. And then she has flowers on her tail. Oh, goodness. Come on. And I didn't follow all of the color guides because I didn't like the colors. So I went my own way. Hey, thanks for popping in. Have a good day at work. So the next thing on my schedule is to get through the next chapters, where I've just had so much going on in life. Oh my gosh. Not felt the best either. Been kind of sick and puny on top of everything else. But we got through the weekend, so you know, that's all that matters. We made it. Got to get through 6 and 7 in that book. I've got another book in that I'm wanting to also review as we read, but we'll wait till we get this one all the way done. When I get back to rolling on this one, it should be better. My eyes are doing overall better. They're a little wonky right now from the sunburn and the issue I had over the weekend, but not like they had been with this weather. You know, we've got rain here today, but they're not acting like at all like they were with this weather the last couple weeks. I just don't know what was in that weather. But it did not like my disorder at all and caused me a bunch of problems. So that seems to have chilled out a little bit right now. Thank the good Lord. And yesterday, I was so sunburnt and so tired. I just was not functioning yesterday. I just kind of shut down and slept all day yesterday. Every time I'd wake up, I'd be like, no, I'm going to go. I was supposed to go pick up some stuff at Mom and Dad's. And every time I'd wake up, I'd be like, I'm going. And I'd fall back asleep. And then I woke up and David had gone down there and got everything for me. And I felt kind of bad because I was just out. I was just out of it. I was so tired. And when I have those flares and my muscles do those where they freeze, it's really difficult on me. So I was not feeling the best, and I felt kind of bad because I slept through everything. So that's how it goes. Y'all can see how tired I am by my face. Of course, it's also sunburnt. But it was a fun weekend overall, even though my disorder tried to peek in. I got to spend some time with the brother-in-law, sister-in-law, and that was fun. Of course, she and I were the ones that used to ride together a lot there. Gosh, from like from age 24 to around 35, we would go and trail ride together. And so it's fun to spend some time with her. She's still riding. I'm not, because of my health. I'm not. Obviously, gained so much weight, it wouldn't be fair to the horse. But she still rides and trains and does everything. I do not. It's always fun to catch up with her. She had some tacks she was selling. I bought a hat box, and when I have a minute, I'll show you. I've already got it filled with yarn. It's an old, like, I don't know, wickery, bamboo-y looking hat box. It was her granny's, so Lord knows how old it is, but it is so pretty, and I was just enamored with it and had to have it, mostly so I could hide more yarn. But it's really pretty, and it was only $5. So I scooped that up so I could hide my yarn. But it's really pretty. And I'm thinking hat boxes are cute because, you know, you can kind of decorate with them, but you can still hide your yarn. I'm thinking I'm onto something here. Just saying. Okay, Chelsea, it's good to see you. I'm just going to sew this today and try to get back on the normal schedule eventually. Maybe my body will let me. Seems I've not been in control lately, but we're just gonna say I'm gonna feel better and everything's gonna get done. I need to feel better. I've got the endocrinologist next week, and I don't want to go to her not feeling well because oof. She's a little cantankerous. She's just looking for a reason to take my thyroid on out. Which I have to admit, it's not been behaving, so maybe she needs to. I'm starting the big snore from Luna. I'm starting the flower on his tail, and I just did an all yellow flower because I didn't like the colors it used. It looked, I don't know, it looked weird. Didn't like it, so I didn't do it. I've been dragging too. I mean, bad. I don't know what, well, we all know what's going on, but I mean, I have just had more problems as of late than normal, health wise. Of course, David he tries to remind me that I also can do more than I used to be able to. And he's like, you used to basically be bedbound. He's like, you're doing really well. Don't be so hard on yourself. But it is frustrating because when you get a little bit of normalcy back, that's when you focus on what you really can't do again. And so maybe that's why I've been hyper focused on what I still can't do, or the little things that I still can't do. And I always have to, it's kind of frustrating because like when he has these things, I always have to be prepared to either be able to lay down in a vehicle and rest if I get tired, or to be close enough to the house to have somebody run me home. And it stinks to always have to think about these, well, you might need this, you might need that. This might, it always stinks to have to think like that. When everybody tells you you're doing so much better, but you still have to have a secondary escape route, and it's irritating. But overall, I am doing better, and overall, I think I would have done really well this weekend had I not got stung twice by whatever stung me, because that flipping hurt. It hurt. Of course, then I got sunburned. I don't do well with sunburns. That's why I was slathered trying to protect myself, but we didn't get any rain. It looked like it was going to one day, but it didn't. It's going to be an all yellow flower. It was it wasn't like we didn't sell a gob of stuff, but we had fun. But the 127 is more of like a junkathon. The stuff we sold, we were right. It was the writers that wanted to decorate their house, or, wanted something fun. But now the next few heritage things, they will be busy because David's stuff, it flies there. So, and I think if they've not changed, see, I was supposed to do a thing about weaving. I was supposed to do a weaving exhibition, and talk about it a little bit. And they had me on the roster last year, but then Helene happened and they had to cancel the event because there was just so much rainwater that wouldn't go anywhere, and rain. And so they canceled the event because it was just, everything was underwater. So I don't know if I'm still scheduled to do that or not. I'm waiting for the ladies to get back with me. I definitely will if they want me to. I was looking forward to it last year. So it's just kind of making sure that they do still want that, and getting stuff kind of set aside for that. I do already have willow drying if they want me to do that, because I was thinking they probably, if I don't prep for it, they probably will, and I better prep. So I went ahead and cut me some willow to get it to drying. Because we all know if you're not prepared, it will absolutely happen. And then you won't have anything. So I went ahead and got prepared just in case. But I really enjoy, this one is a heritage. It happens at like a little heritage foundation kind of thing. And it's right across from one of the justice centers and jails where I used to be the institutional parole officer of. So I also get to see like the old clerk ladies and people that work at the DA's office. And sometimes even some of the old offenders will come by and say howdy to me. And so it's going to be. I normally do more talking there than I do anywhere, so I normally enjoy this one pretty good. And then after that, I don't remember where the next one is. Where's the next I know we got the Pumpkin Festival coming back up. We got the Scott County. Oh my gosh, the Scott County Heritage and then the Pumpkin Festival, but there's one in between, and I can't remember what it is. But those are the ones that we have coming up. So it'll be fun. I've already worked up a sweat, y'all. I've already worked up a sweat. Let's see. What if I had the mini taxidermy? Everybody flocked to my little mini crochet taxidermy. I didn't have anyone buy it. Everyone flocked to it. The little mini coin purses that I made, like the frog one with the frog's mouth open, those flew. The catfish sold. Some of the horses I crocheted sold. It's hard to remember what all sold. Mostly because I was in and out. I wasn't there the whole time. And there was another lady there that was selling crochet, but like I said, I only do like wildlife or my own patterns and stuff, so I don't really step on anybody's toes. But she was super sweet. She came down and she was like, "You just freehand everything, don't you?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "I bought patterns for a couple things." I said, "But if I can't find a pattern," I said, "I'll just make my own." And she was like, "Well, it's really nice." She said, "You do a really good job." She was super sweet. She had a frog that was literally the size of a 3-year-old that sat in a rocking chair, and I don't know who bought it, but it was adorable. Somebody scooped it up. It was I wouldn't want to know how many hours she had in that thing. I don't even want to know. But it was absolutely adorable. And it looked like a kid. It even had on a little striped shirt and shorts. And it was really cute. But it was sitting in a full-size rocking chair. And it took up the whole thing. That's how big it was. And I was like, that's dedication, man. I don't think I would have taken on a project that big. Of course, as I sit here and sew together a 3-foot dragon. But she had some really nice stuff. She was a really sweet woman. I said, I normally just do wildlife because I don't want to step on toes. I said, I normally only do what David has fur-wise. And I have to say that it's working out because the kids do, they come up with the parents are looking at the fur, and then the kids wander over and see the crochet. It's a good business model. It's working out. One more petal on this flower and then I'll be done. Luckily the other flowers are all made into one piece. This is just the big flower on its tail, or I would be going insane already by now. I think the thing that's going to be hardest to do is to get the face quite right, because the face, the lady that made the pattern, she embroidered the face. It's just so perfect, and I don't know if I can do it or not. We're gonna try. If it's got a quirky face, that if I don't do it just quite right, it's okay. It'll still be okay. But that guy on Etsy kind of irritated me. We've run across a couple of them that have done some really just ethically askewed things. One guy had a physical tannery shop, and he was going by, and anybody that had sold anything tanned on Etsy, he was trying to buy off of them and then report them and shut down their shop. Well, then it come to find out he had like 3 physical tanneries across the U.S., and he had like 14 shops on Etsy, and he was just trying to basically monopolize, the whole thing. And he he was functioning under like 7 emails and like 4 websites. So he looked like different businesses and different buyers. And I helped Etsy kind of figure this out. And he got in some trouble. But I mean, maybe you shouldn't tick off a retired parole officer who knows how to investigate. But I mean, his business practices were really, really bad. And you know, it was just greed. That's just greed. You go after these little people that are, you know, just trying to make a little bit of money on this platform, and then you find these people that are, you know, misusing the platform and then using it almost as a bully scenario to try to limit other people's ability to make money, you know, because they still, even though, you know, they've got all the businesses and all the time and all the money, and, you know, they still think that somebody might get something, you know, and they just can't stand that. Somebody might get something. It just boggles my mind as to why people are like that. But, you know, people are like that. Like I said, it reminded me of why mules kick vehicles. May not do anything, but what probably feels good. That's how I felt all morning. So I researched that guy and found out that he was actually buying people's stuff and then trying to get money back on like half of them so he could basically sell it and make a profit. And it's just like, dude, you okay, Luke? Luna, stop rolling. Luna's being a stinker. She knows that I'm busy, so she knows she can get away with something right now. These little minuscule leaves that are on this pattern are not my favorite thing. I think that they should be bigger leaves. And I'm probably going to go back and make like much bigger leaves to go with these flowers, because I just don't think these little leaves are, they're just not quite doing it for me. I'm sorry. These little leaves are just, no, sorry. Need more. Need a bigger leaf. But I will say the dragon form was terribly easy to crochet. I didn't mind doing the flowers. It was just monotonous. They were easily made. They were just monotonous. It's like I don't mind repetition until I do. And that's kind of how it goes. Like you think you're okay making this pattern, and then you're like, no, I've made 15 of these. I think I'm done. And that's when it kicks in and I mind. And then I need to make a mental note and go, don't ever make this again. But then I like the end product, and I'm like, no, I need to make another one of those. And then I talk myself back into it. I am going to layer these leaves so that they look like multiples. Because that's all I can figure out to do with them. Luna stayed with her original rescuers while we were having that wild 127 corridor sale weekend. And she had a good stay. The third day, she was getting a little nervy because she was like, okay, where's my people, you know? And so she had a little bit of an upset stomach when I picked her back up because she was starting to get a little nervy. But, you know, within just a few hours, she was fine again. And she got to play with the kids at that home, and she loved that. So she came home extremely tired. She didn't have any problems. She had a little bit of a tummy ache one day, but that was about it. So she did really well. and found out that she kind of travels like a champ. She rides in the vehicle like a champ. I thought she'd be a little bit more, you know, spastic to where she's kind of ADHD. But she wasn't. She actually behaved and was very chill on the trip over. And I've got the little thing that, you know, wraps around the headrest on the Jeep, and she buckles to it, and then she's got the little harness that she wears and stuff. So, okay, I've got to do like 4 more of those around there. And then what happens is you do a trail up her tail, and then it goes to a circle. It's supposed to be a circle of flowers in the back, and then you do a trail up, and there's a crown of flowers on her head. So, but she's gigantic. But she's cute. It's just, you know, gonna be getting everything sewed on her now. It may take me, I don't know, it may take me days at the rate I'm going, because I feel really tired. I'm sunburnt and don't feel well. I need something that's gonna take my interest and work with my interest right now to get my energy levels up. And I'm gonna have to work her a little bit, because you want her to be floppy so that she looks like she's sleeping. They can curve her neck and her tail. So I kind of have to work with the stuffing a little bit as I sew her. She'll be okay. But she's turning out cute. I'm just glad I got her fins and stuff on. And I use, this is just that puzzle yarn. Who's it by? Premier. It's the Premier puzzle yarn. And she takes about, one of the bigger skeins, about a skein and a half to do. So not super bad. Not super bad. But she looks like the Loch Ness Monster. And so when I get her crown get her face on and get her crown of flowers on and stuff, she'll be pretty. And then get her vines that go down her back to her tail. That'll be cute. That's just going to take a while, because she is literally 3 foot long. She's 3 foot long, and it's going to take me a while. Yeah, she took about a skein and a half. And it was like 100 rounds. Everything I did had like 100 rounds until you get to like the small stuff. And then like the legs just had like 20 something. You know, the flippers, they were not that bad. And the ears were really small. The good thing is that they did the whole body in one piece. So you just, you know, you just kept decreasing, increasing to do the whole body. But I had to kind of crochet her in fits, because I couldn't sit down and do it all immediately and stay on task. I had to revisit her often. And come back. So, but I am going to look at the lady who made the pattern. I'm going to look at her eyes that she embroidered, because they are really pretty, and I'm going to make sure I get those as spot on as possible, because she did a really good job with the face embroidery. And the flowers and stuff are not that super important. She looks like she fell asleep and flowers grew over hers. That's what it looks like. So that's not too terribly difficult. I would say do this at a table, but my table is taken up with other things I'm working on. My whole house is like craft central right now. But this week I'm just mostly resting, because I don't want to have an issue when I go into the endocrinologist next week. So I'm definitely taking it easy this week and being nice to myself, because I don't want any surprises to pop up at the endocrinologist, because she could be grumpy. And I don't want to have a surgery going into fall. So I'm going to be very nice to myself this week, so that my blood work and stuff looks good next week. So, easy peasy, which means we'll be finishing that book and doing easy stuff as long as my eyes will stay with it. I do not know what, but the last few weeks my eyes have been really bad, and I don't know what really has been causing it. But even after that sting, they're better than they have been, and I don't know. I think it was probably just weather. Probably. And we all know what I think about the weather, but it's just been, I don't know, my eyes have been having a really rough go of it here lately. To where my glasses or nothing really help. They just are they get so wonky at times. Oh, I split my yarn. You know, I wish I had a grandkid here that I could teach to weave in ends. That would be nice. That'd be real nice. Then I wouldn't have to, but I could pay them like $1/4 an end and they could weave in my ends for me. You see? So anyway, she'll have a little ring of these yellow flowers up here on her head. Well, it splatters, and some leaves. And then the vine that I will surface stitch will go down her back, and there'll be little bits of flowers. And then it will link up to her tail and the big flower on her tail. So this is just going to be a labor of love, y'all. Just a labor of love getting all this crocheted on and not crocheted, stitched. I don't mind doing it. It's not my most favorite thing to do. But it's okay. It doesn't have to be my most favorite thing to do. My most favorite thing to do is to gift these to people. So I'll be completely fine with whatever I do all day today. When I can hand it over and see somebody smile, I'll be fine then. But yeah, I don't like this hand stuff. Is not my favorite thing to do. But it's part of it, so. But like, I like no-sew patterns, but then again, you don't really get a lot of, you just don't get a lot of realism in the no-sew patterns. Like those little taxidermy patterns, wall mount taxidermies that I did, you know, they got a lot of intricate stitches and after sewing for faces and face shaping and stuff, but they're really cool looking. And so I make peace with, yeah, I'd rather have a neat looking piece of art at the end. But at the same time, sometimes I just want to sit down and have a no-sew pattern that is, I'm not going to be taxed with doing 50,000 things when I'm done. About every third or fourth project, I can handle like a really detailed one. But I always do end up liking them more, the detail. Even though they take more time, I do end up liking them more. So I guess it's just a necessary evil. The other guy on Etsy kind of irritated me because I don't know. I just feel bad because he's probably buying skunks from dozens of small people like my husband that just have, they just trap amounts every year and tan them and sell them. And then here comes this guy who's like, I'll buy them all up, one at a time, two at a time. And then about every third or fourth one, he says there's a problem so that he gets his money back on it when there's not a problem. So, but he, definitely amplifies his profits by doing that. And he's doing that against the small people that are creating his business, because then he turns around and sells their tan pelts. And it's just like, ethics? Anyone? Those people irritate me a little bit. They do look like daffodils. The other ones looked more like daisies, and I didn't care for them. I didn't like the color clash with this puzzle yarn. And I didn't want to do anything like two one way or the other because I don't know what they're having yet. And I didn't want to make it too boy or girly either way. Well, you run across some sleazy people everywhere, I guess, and you know they'll find a way to take advantage of every platform out there. Oh, the appeal that David put into Ko-fi, he won, so he can put his Ko-fi page back out there. I don't know if he will or not. He kind of got done with them when they did their crap, where they said that his pictures of his tan hides were graphic. I mean, they got women selling their farts in a jar, but somebody's showing a tanned hide. It's graphic. I just think, you know, as a society, we probably need to do better. Just a little bit, do a little bit better, y'all. But I mean, these leaves are microscopic. And I made them out of a worsted weight. I made them out of the yarn that was supposed to be made out of. And I'm sitting there going, can we not have a bigger leaf? So I found a free leaf pattern. So I'm going to be adding some bigger leaves along the way. Because these little ones are just, nope. I need a bigger leaf. So I will be adding bigger leaves. I'm going to have to stop soon and do a lunch break, though. I fed Luna and forgot to feed myself. I do that a lot. It happens. My animals get treated better than I do. She's over there snoring away. She wanted to go out earlier, and my morning glory trellis had fallen over in the storm. And you would have thought that there was a robber in the yard that she was going to have to, like, protect everyone from or something. And it was just that morning glory trellis falling over. Cracked me up. She wasn't having it. She was mad. Okay. Well, now we're starting to get a little bit of a color change on her head up here. It looks a little bit better. Should have brought me a little bucket for my scraps. I mean, look at these tiny little leaves. It's not a leaf. I want leaves. So I'm gonna make some giant leaves to go on her. So you start a pattern up there, and then we do the surface crochet the vines, and go down and loop-de-loo and put some more flowers. And I'll probably end up making a butt ton more flowers just to make her really stand out. But she's pretty. She's giant. She's pretty, and I think she'll be cute laying on a toddler bed, a baby bed, a toddler bed. You're supposed to curl her up like this, like she's sleeping, so you don't overstuff her tail and stuff. But I'll post pictures when I get her all done. No, Margaret, I don't guess I have. No, I haven't named her. I haven't thought that far ahead. All I've been thinking about is leaf, 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 flower, 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 leaf. That's literally all I've been doing is make another leaf, make another flower, make another leaf, make another flower. But I've been working on her for a couple months at least. I mean, I set her down for a long time when I was doing some other stuff, but oh wow. Luna, you need to stop crop dusting me. Lord. Ooh. That was bad. Okay, I have a fan. I love Donald Sutherland. I wonder if I have seen it. Jennifer Tilly and Donald Sutherland. I don't know. I'll have to look and see if it's. I love Donald Sutherland. Like I loved him in almost everything. So I'll have to look back and see. I don't know. Somebody left a really sweet comment that was nice. I like people that sprinkle sunshine instead of rain. That's nice. I appreciate that. I gotta get a haircut. I gotta eat some lunch. But I just wanted to report in, like, made it through the weekend. Had some hiccups with my health, but not super bad. And just kind of having the after effects of the sunburn. And I'm still pale as can be, but I got sunburnt. My forearms and stuff are still really tight where I got so sunburnt that my neuromuscular disorder acted up. It's just really strange how my body does these days. It just is not right. And then the thing that bit me on my back is been dealing with that. So I had a little bit of a issue with whatever stung me. But I'm doing better. I'm just tired, extremely tired. Cannot seem to get enough rest. And but I'll catch up, and that way we can move on with chapter 6 and 7. And then we can get into, I'm wanting to eventually get this book done, and we'll have a basis to move on to some of the other stuff. And I've got one that is like a history of the United States, and it's like the people's history, and they were going to put it on the banned book list, and I was like, okay, well, if it's going to go on a banned book list, then I must purchase it and we must read it. So I bought that one just to read, but I think it's something that I will probably at least share points of when I read it, just so that y'all know what's in there. Bitter. Margaret, that suits you. Oh, goodness. You meet all cops out there in YouTube land, don't you? Anyway, I just want to pop and let you know I'm alive. I'm going to upload that short about that guy that irritated me on Etsy. I went ahead and blocked him. He can't buy or purchase or anything from David anymore. You know, if you're going to use somebody as your step up and use their product and display it as your own and sell it as your own, but then say it's not quality, why would you even sell it? But if you're going to do that, I'm at least going to make it hard for you, you know, to constantly come back and use the little man. So a lot of the people on Etsy that have small tan shops like David does, they all pay attention to each other. So if I put this up, maybe he will get blocked from some other places. He won't be able to purchase and, you know, potentially show their work as his work and sell it and try to cause this little profit scheme he's got going on. It's just, you know, very rarely do I look at something that could be a positive for me and say, but how can I use it as a weapon against other people? I just don't think like that. Maybe I should. I think there's something wrong with people that look at things as weapons first. I mean, they look at these great applications, these great websites, these great opportunities, and instead of saying, how can I make that work for me? They go, but how can I harness that as a weapon against everyone else that wants to use it? And I'm sitting there going, you got too much time on your hands and perhaps an empty heart and soul. But I don't think that I've ever had that thought in my life. I want to see other people do well and other people prosper. I don't think I've ever set out to say, okay, well, how can I weaponize this against you? It's just, I just think it's just bad etiquette all around. And I was very disappointed in that man. He will not be purchasing any more skunks. Money's not important enough that somebody can, you know, I'll take it from anybody and let them do something absolutely crooked like that. It's just not that important. So he will not be purchasing anything else from David. Just sad. Really, it's frustrating, isn't it, when somebody takes credit for your work? Because it's like, man, that's hard work. And for David, it's weeks of work. Well, it's months. By the time he's trapped the animal and then taking it through the whole thing, it's months of work. It's frustrating. Oh, I speak autocorrect fluently. Don't worry. I can read it like none other. It does it to me all the time. Did he make you do it? Oh my gosh. That's so pathetic, Margaret. Well, this guy is one less that will be. We've ran across one other, like I said, that's done this to David, and we just block him and show Etsy the proof and say we're not dealing with him, and we mark him as spam on our site and block him from purchasing and notify Etsy. And I feel sorry for these people that try to do this because they don't know that I literally do better detective work than the FBI because of my past career. But I mean, obviously, when you're working with small time tanners, that David sells one or two of a thing. He may only have a dozen skunks in a year. I think he actually has like 18 this year. But when you sell that low of number, you know what each of them look like. You know everything. You've seen them 50,000 times through the process. And so for him to say this one has damage, but then put it in his shop as non-damaged, irritated me. So, do you need to go outside? Oh, Luna's telling me she's go outside. Luna, come say hi. Come here, Lulu. Come here. Let's say hi. Come here. Come on. Hey. Oh, hey. Say hi to everybody. Oh, he missed. Say hi to everybody. Oh, no, I don't want sugars. I don't. Okay, I don't want sugars. Say hi, everybody. I'm doing great. But I'm doing the pee-pee dance. Mom's going to have to let me outside. Oh, you're a stinker. 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 You're a stinker. You got the biggest smile when I do that to your face. The biggest smile. The biggest smile. Want to show me a big smile? I got the biggest smile. It's just frustrating. Yeah, it's frustrating. I just would rather not even sell those people. And David has fair prices. We got told several times over the weekend that his prices were super fair, like the most fair that they'd ever seen. Look at her big smile. It's a smile. Me. It's me. I'm sorry. I had to. You were too cute. But we got told several times over the weekend how fair his prices were and that they had never seen anybody have such good prices on stuff like this. But when you're, small town, you do it all your own, and every part of the job, you don't really outsource. You can offer those good prices. And Margaret said, "Hey, Luna." So I'm a stanker. I'm a stanker. But we were very happy with the feedback that we got this weekend, and the people were super. We had some people that found us again that have found us several times, and they actually went out of their way to go to the website and see where David listed where he was going to be and find us so they could purchase some more stuff. It's always nice when that happens. And so we had a good weekend. I just had some health bobbles, got a little sunburn, got stung by something that really wigged my body out. But I'm okay. I'm just resting and trying to get through the sunburn. Even though I'm still translucent, I am sunburnt, believe it or not. And I'm just resting right now. It's rainy today. So she had fun with her little vacation, but she definitely was ready to come home. She's definitely ready to come home, wasn't you? Yeah. I'm going to give her a couple of days to rest, and we may go visit Nana. I think she's ready for another visit to go visit Nana. Oliver may not want to see her show up, but she's a little ADHD, and Oliver's a little not, so they don't always get along. Are you being sweet? 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 Oh, her's being sweet. Oh, her's being sweet. Oh, her's being sweet. This is the sweetest little dog, y'all. She is the sweetest little dog. It's kind of horrible that people have been so mean to her all her whole life, but she really is. She's got some health issues, and she's got some oopsies sometimes, but she is just the sweetest little soul. I mean, such a love bug. Such a love bug. She's like, yes, look in my eyes. Look in my eyes. Look in my eyes. She's the sweetest little love bug. So she's doing good. But she had a good little vacation. She got to see all her old friends, play with the kiddos again. And she was happy when we got there. She was happy and went and checked on everybody and was fine when I left. The third day, she was ready for me to come back and get her. She was getting a little nervy. But as soon as we got her home, she took a nap, so she was fine. I think now she knows that wherever she goes, she comes back. So I think that's going to help her a whole lot in future trips out and about. She rides like a champ, though. She did really good. She did really good. We missed her. We missed her. It was weird to wake up and not have her, following everywhere through the house, and not have her coming to check on me and ask me if I was up yet. You're my little alarm clock, aren't you? But we had a good weekend. Thank you. It's my little epileptic Boston Terrier. So I just wanted to check in, show you what I'm working on, and tell you about a little bit about the weekend. And the book is going to be the focus now to get back on the chapters and get it done, since my eyes seem to be doing a little bit better. They're still a little wonky, but not like they were a couple weeks. There for a couple weeks, I couldn't see anything. So they're better now. We're going to get back to the book, get all of that finalized, get through the rest of the chapters. Now that we've got all the information from the first part of the book, they should flow a little bit more and not have so many notes of pages for each chapter, because we were just laying a foundation there for everything. The first of the book is just such a heavy foundational informational hit. So things should move a little bit better and easier now. It seems to be for me anyway, so it shouldn't be as many pages of notes to read to y'all. Oh, I'm sorry, I scared you. I laughed and scared her. Did I scare you? I laughed and scared you. Margaret made me do it. It's Margaret's fault. Say, Margaret, how dare you, Margaret? You gonna go sleep? You gonna lay back and go sleep? You gonna kick it? What are you doing? You reclining? Okay, well, we just want to check in. We lived through the weekend. I'm tired, as y'all can see, but doing good. Lily's back home, being little terror that she is, so she's fine. Not having any seizures right now, so that's good. And so back to normal schedule. Hopefully tomorrow we can get chapter 6, maybe 7 out of the way, and get back on the book, because there's a lot to be covered. And Sabrina is just rolling through the information, so we just need to get back on track and get that one done. And then I'm still watching that other book. I want to read that Obscure Principles book. I'm still watching it. If I get to where I can, I will get it purchased. It's rather expensive, but I really do want to read it. It's going to be a great follow-up to this one as well. Okay, well, the algorithm has thrown us back out. Me and Luna are going to go outside and let her have a little bit of play. And we're going to let her have a little play outside, and then I'm going to eat me some lunch and get back to some busy work that I need to get done while I'm feeling like doing it right now. So everybody have a good day, and let's look forward to chapter 6 tomorrow afternoon, maybe chapter 7 as well. We'll see how far I get, and get back on the swing things now. Since we got this 127 sale behind us, life can go back to normal for a little while until you can give me 5. Give 5. Oh, come on, we've been working on it. Life can go back to normal for a few weeks until we hit the heritage festivals and stuff. So we'll see what kind of normalcy we can get back to. We're going to try. Slingshot. I never was much good with slingshot. Got in a lot of trouble with slingshots. I guess I was better than I thought it was, but I never really did anything useful with slingshot. You ready? You can go outside, go pot-pot? Okay, she's going to go pot-pot. Y'all have a good day. I'm going to rest. I'll catch up with you tomorrow. Bye, guys. Say bye, guys. Her face is always like, you're so cute. You're so cute.